Hello, 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 my darlings. Thank you for joining me on A Slice of Life, A Slice of Life. I have some fun things tonight. I love this guy called Seals the Man, Sealz, Seals the Man. Hey, baby. Anyway, he talks about women, of course, from a man's perspective, but he did a funny thing tonight, and I need some funny stuff. So let me tell you what he said. This video from Seals the Man explores the tiny, often overlooked details that men notice when they are deeply interested in or falling for a woman. He emphasizes that when a man genuinely likes you, he studies you intensely. I told you that. By the time he talks to you, he's already studied something about you. I know for a witness, I'm a witness. So the guy said he studied me a month. And that's something, but I'm telling you about this. This is funny though. I mean, it's funny, but it's cute. So let me tell you what he said. He seals the man. The key takeaways. Imperfections are seen as perfection. Imperfections are seen as perfection. Men notice physical markers like dimples, scars, scratches, which they find endearing and often use as icebreakers to learn your personal story. He says that he'll if something's going on, like he's already studied you. So say you got a dimple and the guy would say, I like those dimples. How long you had those dimples? Something funny like that, like all my life. And then you say, what those dimples mean? Have you? And it's an icebreaker for them. Or they say, how you get that scar right there? How many of you all had somebody do that? See, when I give you these secrets, then you stop and think about, I think somebody did ask me that. Like when I was wearing my hair some kind of way, I have a scar right here. The person said, how you get the scar? And then they sit and intensely listen to that story that you're going to give. And you think, oh, I'm telling them a story, but actually they're gaining information, one, and two, the animation of the story, and three, they know more about you, and four, he is just thrilled that you have a story that he can listen to and gain more information about you, especially if it's funny. And the whole laughter thing, which is what I'm gonna get to. So I didn't never. I remember now somebody asked me about it. I thought they would just ask him about it. I didn't know it was a plan. See, I love this guy. He tells us what we need to know, that we already know some stuff, but this is even better. And it's funny today. So if you got a scar somewhere or a dimple somewhere, or what do you say? What they say, men recognize, wait, let me get to it. A scar, a dimple, a scratch. They find it endearing because they're like, ooh, she got a scratch. Let me ask about that scratch. I love you all. I do. I just love you all. Okay, let me see what else. So he said, number two, an appreciation of restraint. Men recognize when you take the high road during an argument or protect his peace by controlling your own reaction. So, when there's an argument and they know that, so this particular man said he likes a woman to be combative a little bit so he can get into the one-on-one and have I got my point, you got my point, I got my point, you got a point, all that. And sometimes, like with me, I'm like, you can win. And then he says sometimes he really, really wants the argument, but then again, when you don't do it, he's like, oh, she let me win. This was funny tonight. I'm going to put it in the description how you can hear the original version of this. I said, oh, she let me win. And then the constraints, and then just the constraints of her saying, that's all right. I don't want to get in an argument about something, because it's probably not even, you just made it up anyway. It sounds like it's something you made up. But anyway, I like the idea. He called that an appreciation of restraint. Okay, brothers. Okay, understanding your laughter. Men can distinguish between your real, gut-wrenching laugh and a polite or nervous one, as they have studied your genuine reactions. So he says, when you get a good laugh, he said, a man loves a good laugh. You're like, ooh, she laughs. Oh, I said something funny. Oh, I see what she likes. Oh, I can see what makes her happy. Oh, isn't that wonderful? That's somebody that's really into you. So he likes to laugh. And then you all go out somewhere and he hears that laugh. You know that laugh we give when we're in public? Like, really, it's just like, what? It's not even funny, but I'm going to go on and laugh because everybody else is laughing. This man is saying, we know that laugh too. So later when we get in the car and he'll say, I know you didn't laugh at that. It really wasn't funny. So now he's gathering information about how you conceal or which happens in public. So I know you'll laugh at home. I know you'll laugh when we together. And then you got a different laugh out here based on what? Now, if it's a gut-wrenching laugh, then I know it's really funny to you. But if you get that fake laugh, then I know when we get home or when we get back in the car or something, I can bring that up. Oh, man, I love this whole study thing. It's like research. It's like getting a PhD in femaleology and getting your PhD in maleology, okay? All right, so let's go what else he says. Notice the mood shifts. Oh, baby. Yes, we will. I mean, he loves saying this part. He said, despite saying, I'm fine, men instantly detect shifts in your attitude and can feel the change in your energy. Let me say that again. Men will hear you say, I'm fine. Where is it? Wait. But they instantly detect shifts in your attitude and can feel the change in your energy. You know why? They've been trained well. Because some mama had the same thing. So they had a mama that had, see, when you grow up with a mama, parents, children learn early about the shifts in attitude. Because, I think about how you are wanting to protect your child. Let me just stop and be a mom for a minute. You're going through hell. Somebody has told you something stupid at work or something stupid has gone along in your life. You got this kid, okay? And you know the child is going to come home wanting mommy. And so you got to give mommy, but you think about all the stuff that has happened. And so you give mommy, and then soon the child goes somewhere, you go into your real self. Then the child comes back before you know it. And then they have seen that change. So you see that change because stuff goes on. They don't know what's going on, but they know something is going on. So kids have grown up with the change of temperature in the house, or maybe a couple, and the husband's one thing, or the couple, whatever the couple is. And the child has gone to one, and one is happy. He goes to the other's happy. And then he goes and sees them both in the kitchen or somewhere in the house, and they're not speaking to each other. Children pick up on that. Parents don't know that. Parents are doing the best they can. It takes a lot to be a parent. We all know that. You all on the other side. If you raised anybody, it takes a lot to raise a cat, a dog, and a parakeet sometimes, but it also takes a whole lot to try to not put all your burdens on a child. It's so unfortunate. Sometimes you have to, and sometimes people do it purposefully, and I just think that's terrible. But anyway, so the person in his case is the man. He's had some training already, so he knows that. He said, "Oh, what's going on?" And we say, "I'm fine." Ooh, that's the key word. I'm fine. I've been saying it a long time. I say it all the time. I'm fine. Everything's fine. When because fine says, don't ask me anymore. I'm dealing with it. I'm not going to bring you into it. I'm going to get back to you on it. That's what I'm fine means. And men have figured that out, or whatever the partnership is. You figured out what I'm fine means because you can see the energy changes. Your energy changes when you're not there, and people say I'm fine just to not put the burden on the other person because they're dealing with something or something's going on or they're just unhappy. But they don't want to tell you they're unhappy. So they say, "What are you doing?" "I'm fine." "Everything okay?" "I'm fine." And when in fact, I'm not fine. And my little dog just responded. She must like this whole conversation also. So let's talk about the feminine apology. Now, let me see if he's talking about men notice the specific. Oh, I like this part. He laughed. I laughed too. You laughed too. Well, anyway, let's talk about the feminine apology. Men notice the specific facial expressions and body language you make when you know you are wrong. You know, we sometimes we know we're wrong, but we like, I'm right. Or I'm wrong, but I'm not gonna say I'm wrong. Or I'm wrong, but I'm gonna fix it where it's okay for me to be wrong, because you wrong sometimes. You all know that game. All right, let me see. Men notice the specific facial expressions and body language you make when you know you are wrong, but are trying to apologize while keeping your pride intact. You know that female pride. You know we got it. And you don't want to say you're wrong. You say, well, you give 4 or 5 things that was right. You say, well, XYZ was right. And, when I showed you this, I was right on that. And, the other day when you said something, you noticed I was right on that. Then you work around to, well, I was wrong on this today. But it's okay, because I got the right to be wrong sometimes. I mean, we just cannot get that. I'm sorry. I apologize. Can't get it all out. The first thing they taught me at Delta Airlines, especially in the training department, which I retired from the training department, I taught my customer service agents in the training department at Delta Airlines. The first thing that says, I apologize. I apologize on behalf of Delta Airlines. That's the first thing. Once you get that out, it changes the atmosphere. But I don't know. We don't like to do that because it's just, is it a female thing? I don't know. But we get it done. Anyway, I enjoyed this guy today. So what's the last thing he said? Detecting dislike. Ooh. That goes back to what? Noticing the mood shift and detecting dislike to me is about the same thing. Okay, men observe changes in your body language, the tightened hands, the changed facial expressions when you're around people or situations you dislike. So he says, like, they may be out together and some female comes up and says something and to him, and he's like, oh, hey, so. Then her whole well, you're not supposed to, you're supposed to join in the conversation. And she says, baby, this is Louise. Hey, Louise, how you doing, girl? I like the blouse you got on. That's how I would do it, But he says sometimes our body language will change. Our body language will change if you bring somebody up in the situation that we already know that situation. Yes, our body language is going to change because we need to let you know, don't. I loved his show today. It was so funny to me because it's just, I'm a woman of a certain age, but it's still going on for the youngins on the other side of the screen. If you're 25, 35, 45, or 55, all this applies to you. You know it does, because once you find out about your femininity, when is that? When you 2, 3, 4, 5. When you find out you're a girl, somebody keep telling you a girl, that's a boy, you a girl, you figure out you're a girl. When you get all the girl stuff that goes with being a girl, you know this right away. Your energy will change. Have you ever seen, you ever had maybe your sibling, and he said, ooh, Teresa's she's everything. And you already know about Teresa, and you tell your brother, no, she's not. And, he's like, well, you just don't like any of my girlfriend. I like all of them, I don't like her. And then he finds out later, then you the sibling, you the sister says, see, I told you so. Because we know. Who knows better than we do? We can smell it. We know right away. No. Anyway, I loved his show today. So what was the last thing he said? Recognizing concealment. Men know when you are hiding. This was the best part. Men know when you are hiding something because your usual open behavior flips to reserve or quiet. Well, that's kind of obvious. That's true. What's going on? Nothing. And then we go on across the room. Now you know that brother has studied you long enough to know nothing means, don't come behind me. Wait a minute. I'm not going to tell you right now. Leave me alone or figure out another way to approach me. All that. I just admire all of you. I admire you, Seal, for studying us so well, because you need to study us well. You had a good mama, a good grandmama, a good auntie, somebody, because my sister-in-law, I love her dearly, Sarah, tells me that my other sister and I, did a good job with our brother, because our brother, he had one older, he was the middle child. He was the older sister and a younger sister. And when I left home, he had a younger one to contend with. And by the time he got married, he knew all that he needed to know before he got his own wife, and he just knew. And she said, we made a good husband out of him. And that's what we do. Isn't that what we do? Yes, it is. Because we know. We got a way of knowing, looking, smelling, feeling. Baby, it's nothing like us. And I want to thank Seals, Sealz, the man, on YouTube for your comical slice of life you've given me today, your study on women and how men study us. I want you to do that. I need to, because some of you all didn't get, you missed a class, or you didn't take notes well, or you decided to skip class, or you decided to drop out a semester. I don't know what it is, but you need to get into the SEAL school and get some notes on how to treat us, because we know how we want to be treated. And by now, you would think you know better. But since you don't, let me recommend Seals the Man on YouTube. I love you. I do. And you can't do anything about it.